Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Land of Curves. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joanne and welcome to this fam bam that is Land of Curves. I haven't been on here for a minute, hot minute, and you know, I've just been so caught up with life. I've got so much things going on, so much updates to tell you guys. I'm just so humbled and grateful that you guys have stuck around with me and bared with me. I think that correlates well. And I'm so glad that you guys have actually stuck around with me, and the support I've been getting from my I failed my GCSEs and A levels is absolutely unreal and out of this world. I cannot express enough how grateful and humbled I am by all your amazing comments. I'm literally just speechless at, you know, how, sorry, my phone just gone off. I'm just humbled and grateful by the amount of love I've gotten from you guys and how much everyone's just decided to just watch me and subscribe to me all of a sudden. I'm just grateful and humbled, and I'm so glad that you guys are inspired by me. That's all I want to do, is inspire, help you guys, and just be myself on this channel, man. I can't be anything else but myself, you know what it is. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. There's no reason as to why you shouldn't be a part of the fam bam. And make sure you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you really like this video. So yeah. Today we are going to be talking about my work experience journey. Now this has been a video request. I can't remember the person that video requested it, but if I find the name I'll probably link it somewhere below or somewhere and give a shout out. But yeah, I've had a video request to do my work experience journey. Now I'm just going to try and start from the beginning, trying not to make this too long, but get your coffee, get your tea, get your snacks, because this might be a long one, you know what I mean? I graduated with 2-1 from Coventry University in 2013, which was probably one of the most proudest moments of my life. But yeah, watch my video before if you want to know more about it and how I got there. I started working, as soon as I got out, I started working with Marks and Spencer's. Now I've always been in and out of retail. That's no news to me, it's not breaking news to anybody really. I've always kind of dipped in and out of retail, whether that be Tesco, M&S, Asda, Next, River. I've worked in a lot of retail places. So as soon as I came out of uni, I thought, you know what, quick and easy job to pay my bills would be retail. So I went into M&S. Now I worked for M&S for a year and a half before I finally left to go to CPS. And in that year and a half, I applied for so many jobs, including the CPS, and I kept getting turned down at every given opportunity. Like, it was very draining, and at one point I just felt like giving up and just being a store manager at M&S, because I just thought that's what my life was going to come to, literally. So during that time that I was working at M&S, I was also working 1 day a week with a lady named Helen, and that was at my local law firm down the road from me. I learned, so literally there was just a poster in the wall, in the window, and my sister happened to walk past it and saw it, and she inquired for me as to you know, how I go about, you know, getting a job in that law firm. Unfortunately it was unpaid, but the experience alone, I didn't really care, as long as I had a job that was actually paying my bills, which was M&S, and I was working there part-time anyway, so it kind of fit in really well for me. So there was just a post in the wall saying that a paralegal was needed, and my sister inquired. I came in with my CV, and she took me literally on the spot and was like, you know, I'm really impressed with your CV, I want you to start with me ASAP. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, well, how the hell was she so impressed with your CV? Like, you was, you know, in and out of retail, like you didn't have any legal experience. And you're right, I didn't, but I lied on my CV, and a lot of people do. It's not breaking news, but sometimes you have to lie on your CV, or like sometimes you have to kind of jazz things up to get employers to notice you, because it is a very competitive world, and you know, especially within the whole legal sector kind of environment, everybody wants the same thing. So you need to have something on your CV or resume or whatever that makes you stand out. I don't know what it was. I think I only kind of tweaked one thing on there, and it sounded good to me, so I was like, cool. If a lot of you are shocked by the fact that I kind of tweaked my CV to suit me, then you shouldn't be, because if you're not doing it now, then you're gonna sit there and keep working in Tesco for the rest of your life. You know me, I'm gonna keep it real on this channel. I've always been 100, and that's just what it's gonna be. So I started working with her only one day a week. It was every Wednesday. It was unpaid, but it was down the road from me, so it wasn't really taking much from me. I didn't have to pay for travel. Like, it was a 2-minute walk. And then I was continuing with Marks and Spencer's as well. During that period that I was working with Helen at that law firm, it was so demanding. It was so much work, and at some points I thought, why the hell am I not getting paid for this? But the experience that I took from it was, I would never trade with anything else in the world. Initially it was only, you know, photocopying, getting people tea, stuff like that. Like, it was very basic. But sorry, that's my niece in the background. Clearly they've just come back from church. It was very basic, just photocopying, you know, taking phone calls, things like that, with answering emails and things like that. But as time went on, she grew more trusting me, and I started going in, sitting in consultations with clients and stuff, taking notes, drafting applications. I'm talking like divorce applications and immigration papers and things like for visas, indefinite leave to remain. Like, I was doing a lot. But during that time there, I met this lovely lady. Her name escapes me. I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she was such an amazing lady. And I got on with her really well. And I think everybody at the law firm knew that I wanted to go on and become a barrister. That was the end goal. And I wanted to do the bar professional training course. But all of them there were obviously solicitors. And I remember at the time that Helen was really trying to encourage me to do the LPC, because she was going to offer me a contract, a training contract. But I declined it because I just felt like the solicitor life wasn't for me. It was very admin based. And I'm sorry if I'm offending people, because it's really not admin at all. For me, it was just very admin based, and I didn't want to do that. I knew that I wanted to put forward my submissions to a judge. And like I said, I know solicitors can do that if they have high rights of audience, but I wanted to be a barrister, and I wanted to hold that respect on my name, you know what I mean? They encouraged me. She likes me so much, she encouraged me to, you know, do it, and I was like, nah. And eventually I left. But before I left, I was in contact with a lady that works there. Her name was Mercy. Oh my god, Mercy. I loved her, and she was just so lovely, and she knew that my dream job was to work for the Crown Prosecution Service. I wanted to work for the Crown Prosecution Service for the life of me, because I knew I wanted to do crime. I knew that I wanted to be a barrister, and I knew that would be the most amazing place to start. So I was always on the civil service jobs website trying to bang a job, get a job within the CPS, and I could never get one. I mean, I would apply and get rejected, like, you know, the emails of, we regret to inform you that blah 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 blah. It came in so frequent and often, it was unbelievable. But yeah, she knew a lady that actually worked in the CPS at the time, and she was a lawyer. So she told her that I wanted to get into CPS as a paralegal, and my ultimate end goal was to become a barrister. And she gave her my number, and I remember the closing date for this paralegal vacancy was literally gonna close that night. And I wasn't going to apply for it. In my heart of hearts, I wasn't going to apply for it, because I just felt so defeated, and I just felt like, you know what, they're not going to give me the job. There is no point in applying, because I just don't want to get let down again. But Chris came over, my boo-boo. He came over that night, and he was like, Jay, apply for it. Even if the lady calls you or doesn't call you, apply for it, because you will regret it if you don't. Just go for it. You're going to get it. I promise you, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And I was like, oh, fine, okay. And when I finally made up my mind I was going to actually apply for this job, the lady called me, and she went through the job application with me. She went through my answers and everything, and she just said, you know what, it seems good. And she was like to me, because it's very competency based, like the application is very competency based, so it was a thing of, it would have, like, for the competencies that I had was making effective decisions, managing a quality service, collaborating and partnering, delivering at pace. There was maybe one more, but yeah, I can't remember. And she just said, as long as you formulate your answers to be like what you did. So there's certain thing that you did to actually fulfill the competency. So what it was, how you did it, and what the outcome was. And make sure your answers are always what, how, outcome kind of thing. So I made sure they were all like that. Of course, I told fibs. Of course. Who doesn't tell fibs on their applications? I mean, if you don't, and you have no experience whatsoever, you need to start fibbing. I mean, little white lies will right, but like big lies like, oh my god, I worked for the MI5, that would be stupidity. So no, don't tell big lies like, you know, you worked in the House of Parliament when you absolutely didn't. Tell small white lies like, oh, you worked in a local law firm, and you know, you got so and so experience or whatever. Do you know what I mean? To tell little white lies, but not big ones. That would be really stupid. But I managed to get an interview for the first time, and I remember Chris, bless him, he stayed the whole night with me until I finished the application. And it was on a weekday, so it was a working night, and the next day he had work early morning, and he stayed till like 12 o'clock until I finished the application and actually submitted it, because it was due at like 11:59 or something, and I finished it literally just in time. It was just amazing. Like, I would definitely say, if you're going through a period where you just feel like giving up and you're applying for jobs and stuff like that, having an amazing support system around you is so important. Because if he wasn't there, I tell you, I would not have done it, and I would not be even working for the CPS right now. Okay, yeah, so I had an interview at the Guildford offices. It was a panel interview, and there were 2 guys and 1 woman. And I went in and I was shaking like a leaf. Like, I didn't know what they were going to ask me. I was prepared but unprepared, because I didn't know what they were going to ask me. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that they were going to ask me questions in and around my application. So I had my application on my phone, I was scrolling through it, trying to think of new examples relating to those competencies, and I managed in the car whilst Chris, bless him again, he drove me to the interview. He took a day off literally just to drive me to the interview, which was amazing. And whilst he was driving, I was literally going through like my application, in my notes on my phone, writing new examples that I could think of to try and impress them for these competencies. I was doing the most because I really wanted this job. But yeah, they gave me this booklet. They were like, okay, so you've got 40 minutes and you need to complete this booklet. You need to go. It was like an exam. I was like, yeah, hey, my life is over. They gave me this booklet. I had 40 minutes to do it. Now to write my name, it's like I'm forgetting my name. Can you imagine? I'm going through it, and they're talking about CTLs, custody time limits. They're talking about like some things I knew from obviously my law degree and the experience that I'd had working at the local law firm down the road from me. But other things I was like completely oblivious. I was guessing, and I didn't even finish. Like, this booklet was like about that thick. It wasn't like, you know, a whole, you know, 2-hour exam booklet or whatever. But I just didn't expect. I was so thrown off. Like, it was giving me, oh, the exam that I had to undertake was just, this test or whatever that they called it, was just, it was peak, man. It was peak. And after the exam, and after the 40 minutes had come up, the man came back in and he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to take your booklet back. And I was like, okay, cool. So then after the 40-minute test, exam, whatever you want to call it, you go into the panel interview, before that, I'd never had a panel interview. So I was shaking like a jelly. Went into the interview and he was like, it's okay. He was like, are you nervous? And I was like, yeah, I'm nervous. And I'm drinking my water like... And he was like, you know what, don't worry if you didn't finish the test, it's fine, and don't worry about it too much. This is the bit that counts the most, blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay. About a week went past and I was like emailing the recruitment, I don't know what they call her, the recruitment, is it advisor or something, the person that was emailing me throughout about interviews and things like that. Her name was Gemma. So I was emailing Gemma like, oh my god, like I went for my interview like over a week ago. Has there been any responses whether I've got it, this, that and the other? And there was crickets. After a day or two, she emailed me, and I will never forget this day. I went to Chris's house after work from M&S, and I went to Chris's house and I was just chilling. Obviously I'd emailed Gemma like, what, 3 days prior? Sorry. Tell you, this house really want to try me. And then I get an email and I open it and it's from CPS, and I'm like literally shaking like, oh my god, they're gonna say, and you know what, I wasn't even shaking, I was just like, you know what, they're gonna say we regret to inform you. And I was waiting to see that we regret to inform you, and then I see congratulations, and I'm like, literally I jump up and I start screaming and crying. I couldn't even, the joy that I had inside my spirit, it was, I will never forget that day. I was speechless. I jumped up, I started screaming, crying. Chris's auntie was like, Joanne, are you okay? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm fine, I can't breathe, I had a job. Chris was like, what is going on? Are you mad? Why are you screaming like this? And I was like, oh my god, I got a job. And he was so happy for me, and I was so happy. I called my mum, I called my dad, and I was like, oh my god, I got the job at the CPS. And I was reading through my letter of appointment that they sent me via email, and it was basically just outlining my pay, which was poo. My pay was poo in starting, and now poo. I ended up being sent to the Kent offices, so Canterbury. The distance, bruv, the distance. But I didn't even care where it was. I was just happy that I got my foot in the door through CPS, and I didn't care. It could have been in Timbuktu and I would have gone there. I did not give no hoot. The first couple of weeks when I started, I had to do training in the Canterbury offices, which took me an hour and a half. Literally every morning I would get up at 5 AM, do my makeup and go to work to try and get there for at least 8 o'clock, 8:30. It was just, I suffered, man. I suffered. I was traveling up and down to Canterbury for the first 2-3 weeks, and then after that they placed me, because my job is court based, so basically we have a CPS office within the court buildings. I think it's all over the country. If there's a court building, there's most probably going to be a CPS office within that court building. So I was working from Maidstone Crown Court, in the CPS office within the court, and basically my role was I don't know why I keep talking in past tense because I'm still actually working there, but my role basically is just instructing barristers on a day-to-day basis. So we get court lists in every day, and it basically tells you all the lists that are in every court. Now in Maidstone Crown Court there is 8 courts that are pretty much 9 times out of 10 they're all sitting, and it's quite a bit in there, especially on Fridays and Mondays. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So basically our jobs are just to instruct barristers with the right thing. So for example, if there's a bail application that's being heard, we have to make sure that the barristers have their previous convictions. They have to, obviously barristers have to know what the case is all about, obviously. They have to know what our objections to bail is, so whether the police have sent through a response to the bail application that's been served on us, and usually that's just police officers in charge saying, you know, we object to bail because, you know, they've absconded before, or they've committed a crime whilst on bail before, things like that. So basically we just have to put those things in front of barristers for them to advocate that in court. Same goes with trials. Like we have to prep the files for trials. We have to make sure that there's indictments on the file, so we have to make sure that the correct indictments are on there as well. And sometimes that means, in fact, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be drafting an indictment. So basically that just means what they've been charged with. You kind of have to word it in a certain way, but with our system it's all on there. It can help. It's very, very helpful that there's templates on there and stuff like that. So you have to make sure there's enough indictments for the jury. You have to make sure that the witnesses have their statements. You have to make sure that they have witness expense forms, because every witness that comes to court for the prosecution gets their travel money and stuff back. So you have to make sure they have their witness expense forms so they can claim back on travel or any work, so salaries that they've missed from coming to court and things like that. We deal with a lot of things. We deal with a lot of cases on a day-to-day basis. I'm talking from murder to rape to burglary to robbery to drugs to theft. Like we deal with a lot of things, and it's so interesting. Like I would never ever trade my experience for the CPS for anything ever in the world. You gain so, and I think that kind of made my decision as to whether I wanted to actually be a barrister or not. So I would definitely say, if you're like in a predicament like me and you're looking to either do the LPC or the BPTC, I would definitely kind of go down the route that I went, in terms of looking for experience first within the fields that you really want to go into before you make your decision and actually embarking onto that course, because it's a lot of money. I paid 18 grand to do the BPTC, and now I don't even want to do it anymore. So I think that it's definitely something that you should definitely think about in terms of looking for experience and things like that before you just go straight into it, because you don't want to waste your money and then find that it's not even something that you even want to do. So during my time with the CPS, I know a lot of people may be wondering whether they paid for my course, and no, they didn't. They used to pay for people to do the PPTC and the LPC, but when the period that I got in, they didn't pay for my course at all. I started my BPTC in 2015. And they didn't pay for it, but they did give me money towards it. So they'd give me like £300 at a time towards my course, but they didn't cover all of it. I'd say they gave me about, I had 4 payments of £350, so that's what, 1,400. So they basically gave me £1,400 towards my course, and I was doing the BPTC part-time as I was working full-time for the CPS. Working for the CPS was amazing and is amazing. I keep saying was because I'm leaving the CPS on the 1st of December. If you really want to get your foot in the door, you have to liaise with a lot of people and build rapport with a lot of people. Like, I built rapport with police officers, probation officers, barristers, QCs, judges. You know, I done which is probably what I'm going to talk about in another video, but I actually marshalled with a judge, and that was another amazing experience that I gained. And marshalling with a judge is not easy to come by, like, it seriously isn't, but I got the opportunity to do that, and that's another thing that I can tick off and put on my CV. So yeah, I'll probably do another a video about marshalling with a judge. And I've been in a lot of courses. I've sat on murder trials, like high profile murder trials, high profile rapes and things like that. I've done a lot. So yeah, that is my work experience journey thus far. And yeah, I'm now moving on to the Ministry of Justice, and I'll probably talk about that more in another video. But yeah, I absolutely love the CPS. I've got no bad words to say about it. If you want to work for the CPS, it's an amazing place to work, an amazing place to build a lot of relationships that you will never regret. So yeah, definitely check it out. Pop some comments down there. I get back to every single one of my subscribers that leave comments for me, because I'm so humbled and grateful for everyone that leaves a comment for me anyway. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you leave me a comment, email me, hit me up. I'm always there to help, always there to advise, always there to give my knowledge and my experiences. And make sure you subscribe to the fam bam. Click the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video, and you won't miss any of me. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me. I am so grateful. I can't even describe how grateful I am. I'm so humbled and grateful. So thank you guys so much for your comments, your amazing comments. Thank you guys for your support on my journey. I haven't been doing this that long, and I haven't been the most consistent, but I'm trying my best with everything that I've got on my plate. So please bear with me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. You know what it is. Stay tuned with the fam bam to see what's going on, and yeah, I'll see you in another video. Thanks guys, bye.